haven't spent a lot of time on philosophy, and when I read philosophers, I only occasionally am impressed by them. My view is that the fact that Rawls is taken seriously is a reason not to take modern political philosophy seriously, because his most famous accomplishment is complete nonsense. He basically took an argument that Harsanyi made, and Harsanyi drew the correct logical conclusion from it. And Rawls said, I don't like that conclusion, so I'll wave my hands and change it and get a conclusion I like. And that strikes me as the sort of thing that one shouldn't take seriously in intellectual activities. On the other hand, I occasionally read a philosopher who seems to me to have neat and interesting ideas and have thought about things. But it's not as if I spend a lot of time thinking about philosophy.
Well, could we go in, if you don't mind, what is the Rawls hasn't come up that much on the show, and I'm wondering what the Rawlsian argument is that you find so meaningless.
Yes. The basic idea, which Harsanyi had like 20 years or something before Rawls, is to imagine that you are in an initial situation where you do not know what role in society you will hold. So you think of yourself as, we're going to choose a society with some set of social rules, and I will then be randomly put into it. And the question is, how would you decide what the rules are that you want in that situation? And Harsanyi's answer was, fortunately, this guy called Johnny von Neumann has solved this problem, that von Neumann showed that you can define utility functions in such a way that the utility of a lottery is the expected value of the outcomes, of the utility of the outcomes. So that, well, he says, you're imagining a lottery. This is a situation where you have, one chance in 100 million of being any of the 100 million people in the society. So therefore, whatever society maximizes average utility is the one you would choose. Now, he isn't necessarily correct. I don't know that the initial setup is correct, but he's correctly drawing the conclusion from that initial setup. Rawls didn't like that. So Rawls said, oh no, you don't know what the probabilities are. And he said, if you don't know what the probabilities are, you will be an ultimate pessimist. You will assume that however the society set up, I will be the worst off person in it. And therefore, the rule you will follow is those set of social rules that maximize the welfare of the worst off person. That was what he got famous for, and it's complete nonsense. He never offered any reason why anybody would act that way. You have decisions much short of that people engage in, and people do not act as if they're infinitely risk averse. They don't act as if they assume that if they're facing a gamble, they will always lose, always get the worst outcome. Anyway, it's a diversion, but I'm irritated by bad intellectual work, and it seems to me now Rawls may have done other good things. It's not like I'm an expert on Rawls, but I read the original book that made him famous, and I reached that conclusion, and I've seen no reason to change it since.
Well, then,
and I've had some exchanges with some libertarian political philosophers, part of what call themselves the bleeding heart libertarians. And they aren't willing to agree with Rawls, but they speak positively of him. And I have not been able to get any of them to, in fact, defend what is his most famous conclusion. And anyway, I had a fairly extended online exchange with a couple of them a few years ago.